Hello everyone, and welcome to the Conjure tutorial video. Here we will go through the basics of this fantastic new game. So no more pretense, let's get right into it. So the setup of the game goes like this. You each make sure that your boards match each other like this map here. You set your deck in the deck zone with every card face down and each draw 5 cards. You then check if you have any Novice Spirits in hand. If you don't, you can choose to perform a mulligan, which is the act of showing your opponent your hand and then shuffling it back into your deck and drawing 5 new cards. You can do this twice in one game and only before you start. Once you have done so, discuss with your opponent to find a mutually agreed upon method of who is going first and perform it. Your goals in this game is to reduce your opponent's life points to 0, starting at 1000 for both players, occupy an opponent's Conjure square per 3 of your opponent's turns, or to wait until your opponent runs out of cards in their deck when they try to draw at the start of their turn. Now before going into how each turn plays out, let's look at the board. As you can see, there is a large checkerboard zone with 6 coloured and numbered squares within it, with 6 matching coloured card zones. There is also a deck zone, crypt zone, and relic zone. Let's go through each zone. The large checkered zone is the main field. This is where your spirits fight and move about. The coloured squares, also known as Conjure squares, are where spirits start off. These correspond to the coloured card zones. These zones are called Conjure portals, and when you play a non-relic card, they are placed in one of these portals and then represented as a counter or spirit stone, normally starting at its corresponding Conjure square. Chants and arms are exceptions, as they may not require a spirit stone, or when they do, they are placed on top of its target's Conjure portal or a target square. You can only play cards here during your turn. Another thing to note, chants and arms may be placed face down to be activated at any time. Next is the deck, crypt, and relic zones. The deck zone is where you place your deck, and you draw from cards in this zone at the start of each of your turn, and is your main resource for the game. Your crypt is where your used cards go. When a spirit or corrupted spell dies, an arm attached to a spirit when the spirit dies, or a spell or relic that has completed its effects, or was destroyed by an effect or something, are all sent to the crypt unless otherwise stated. Finally, the relic zone is where you put one relic starting face down. You only have one relic at a time, and you can exchange them once per turn with another relic from hand as long as the relic has not yet been activated, aka flipped over. When a relic is flipped face up, which can be done at any time after the turn you've placed it, you then apply its effects. Note that everything you have the opposing player has as well. Next, let's look at each kind of card. There are 5 different kinds of cards, and today we will focus on 4 of them, but here are all 5 anyway. There are chants, arms, relics, corrupted spells, and last but certainly not least, spirits. Chants are your spells. They change the state of battle, normally in the user's favour, and are placed in the Conjure portal. You may only set them during your turn, but if they are face down, they can be activated at any time. If set face down, or the chant is a permanent, they stay in the Conjure portal. Arms act and are considered as chants, but are equipped to a spirit to perform their effects, either to buff or debuff their target. Arms are destroyed when the spirit is equipped to them is destroyed, or when the spirit is promoted into a spirit that could not equip the armament in the first place. For example, if this armament, the Wand of Light, is equipped to a light spirit that is then promoted into an angel spirit, then this armament is destroyed. All armaments are permanents, and all rules applying to chants are also applied to arms. Relics are a lot like chants, only that they can be set before activating and go to the relic zone. When set, they can't be activated until the start of your opponent's next turn. They can also be switched with other relic cards in your hand, as I mentioned earlier. We will not go too far into these, but corrupted spells are spells that act like spirits, but have no attack or defense points. They normally apply effects to those around them, and when they are attacked, they die. Some do some weird stuff, some can even win you the game, but they are quite tricky to use. Finally, we get to spirits. Spirits make up your army. Unlike all other types of cards I have stated before, where you can only have one copy of the same card in your deck, spirits can have up to 3 of each card with the same name. Spirits have an attack value, a defense value, a type, an element, a level, a set of power-up stats, which we will not go over today, a lore or ability box, and finally some values relating to movement, M, attack range, A, and skill points, S. To explain how each of these works, let's go into a battle scenario. So now that we have gone through all the cards, we can finally get into a flow of a turn. A flow of a turn is like this. You first draw, play, move, promote, attack, and then end. You follow this flow of a turn each turn, but you can choose to skip every step, excluding the draw and end steps. There are exceptions to this flow, such as you can move a spirit after attacking and promoting another spirit, but as a new player it is best to follow this flow. During your draw step, you can draw a card, and abilities that apply to this action apply here. During your play step, you can play Chance, Relics, Novice Spirits, or Sacrificial Conjure, Mastering Legendary Spirits. More on that later. You get to draw every turn, including your first turn, even if you go first. You can only conjure Novice Spirits starting off. This is a limited conjure, meaning you can only do this particular kind of conjure once per turn. When you do so, you place the Novice Spirit card on a conjure portal of your choosing. When you do so, you put a Spirit Stone, a counter that is differentiated from other Spirit Stones and can correspond to your conjure portal either in colour or in number, in the corresponding coloured conjure square. Now most people like to use dice for their counters, but I myself like to use some jellybeans. When you conjure a novice, it cannot move or be promoted, but it can attack the turn it's conjured, unless otherwise stated. For the most part, a novice can't do much the turn it's conjured. When moving a spirit, you follow their movement value, the number next to the M on the bottom left of the card. A spirit can move as many spaces as indicated by the movement value, as long as it's not diagonally. You can turn if you have enough movement value to do so though. You cannot pass through spaces other spirits or corrupted spells occupy. If a spirit is in defense position, it can't move or attack, and a spirit may not change from attack to defense position and vice versa after it has done anything. So moving, attacking, or promoting, unless otherwise stated, or the spirit moves into an opposing conjure square where it must be set to defense position. Defense position is when a card is turned sideways on the conjure portal. We will go more on this in a bit. Promoting a spirit makes it stronger. Each spirit has a level and you must promote in order. The order of the levels is Novice, Apprentice, Master, Titan, and Legendary. Also, to promote a spirit, it must not only have the spirit it is promoting into be the next level, but also be part of an allied type. Here is the guide to each type's allies. You can promote a spirit 2 ways, placing the next level of spirit over the existing spirit after moving and before attacking with that spirit, which is called Promote Conjuring, or by skill point promoting, which refers to the spirit's skill points being met. More on that in a bit. Select promoting may also happen, which is when an effect or ability allows the spirit to be promoted, but this is rare. In order to attack with a spirit, the spirit you're attacking must be within the attack range of the spirit you are attacking with. A spirit's attack range is the value next to the A in the bottom left of the card, which represents how many spaces ahead of it can attack. A spirit may only attack in a straight line. When a spirit declares an attack against an opposing spirit, combat is initiated. When 2 spirits engage in battle, you compare their combat strengths against each other. Which spirit initiated the attack is not a factor in comparing combat strengths. The spirit with the higher combat strength is the victor and gains skill points equal to the S value the weaker spirit had. The spirit with the lower combat strength is defeated and destroyed. The active spirit, all inactive spirits beneath it, and any armament cards armed to it are all sent to the crypt. In the event that both spirits have equal combat strengths, then both are defeated and destroyed. If the defeated spirit was in attack stance, then the difference in combat strengths is deduced from the health points of the player whose spirit it was. If though the defeated spirit was in defense stance, aka turned sideways, it absorbs the entire attack and there is no deduction from the health points of the player whose spirit it was. A spirit may also attack the opposing player directly by attacking an open conjure square, if the spirit is directly adjacent to the conjure square. Attack range does not apply in this instance. In this case, the opposing player's life points are deduced by the attacking spirit's attack value. And finally we come to the end step. Only abilities referring to this stage happen here. After this stage, it is your opponent's turn. Now while we have gone through most of the rules, there is still a few finer points I need to clear up. First is how skill points affect the game. During your turn, if your spirit has skill points equal to the S value on the spirit, you may spend those skill points to search your deck or hand for any spirit of the next level as long as it is of an allied type. You may then promote your spirit into the spirit you have searched for. You may do this any time during your turn, however it cannot be done during an attack. Sacrificial conjuring is another way of conjuring where during your turn you sacrifice 3 novice spirits in play for 1 master spirit from the hand, or 2 master spirits in play for 1 legendary spirit from the hand. While this is effective at getting stronger spirits out if you are stuck with novice spirits out for most of the game, you lose multiple spirits to do so. In advanced rules, there is more reason not to rely on this kind of conjure, however we are not going to go into that in this video. There is also unlimited conjures, which refers to any kind of conjure you can do more than once in a turn. Sacrificial conjures as well as select conjures, which is when you use an ability or effect to conjure a spirit, are both unlimited conjures. Finally, there is the 3-turn ruling for when you capture an opponent's conjure square. If you are able to get one of your spirits to the opponent's side of the field, you can capture an opponent's empty conjure square. When you move a spirit over to an opponent's conjure square, that spirit is switched to defense position permanently, and cannot do anything but respond to attacks. Once a spirit has sat there for 3 of your opponent's turns, you win the game. It is simple as that. And that is all you need to know to start playing Conjure. If you wish to have a more in-depth rules on how to play the game, you can find the rulebook on the Conjure website. There is also more advanced rules on the rulebook, so you can advance your play, including referring to the power-up stats on the bottom left of the card. Now, go out there and conjure to your heart's content.